Hello everybody, what is going on? I am Lucas, and Normal DSP has just released the virtual device list for the upcoming Quad Cortex, which is going to be launching in September of 2020, September of this year. And we are going to be going over all the things that we're going to you're going to be putting in the Quad Cortex. I'm going to give you my opinions, my outlooks, everything like that. So let's strap on in and dive right in to the virtual devices. These are going to be the models that are going to be in the Quad Cortex by September of 2020. To start off, we're going to have 50 amps. So let's go through all the amps really quick. So some of the very first amps we're going to have is we're going to have the Fender 65 Twin Reverb. We're going to have the normal and the vibrato. I believe that is just going to be the inputs on it. I found it kind of interesting that they're modeled so many of the different inputs for a lot of the clean amps that are on here, which I find that kind of interesting because on the Axe Effects, for example, they only chose to model one of the inputs. So that's just the difference that we're going to have right off the bat. We have the classic Roland Jazz Chorus 120. That was a classic amp. Great to have. The Vox AC30, another good classic. We have the same amp, but that's going to have a top boost on it. And they actually modeled the Vox AC15. Very interesting that they chose to put the 15 on the 30. And there, same thing with the 15. You have a top boost right there. Then we have a bazillion Fender Blackface models. So we have the Deluxe Reverb and the Super. I don't exactly know what's the difference with. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm stupid. They're all black faces, but one's a deluxe reverb and one is a super reverb, and you have both normal and vibrato in there. Sorry, it looks confusing on the screen. I'm an idiot. I didn't see the super and deluxe difference right there. Once again, they're not modeling both the normal and the vibrato jacks. The vibrato jack tends to be the brighter of the two inputs there, just so you know. Rolling right along, we're going to have the Fender Blackface Princeton that's going to be in here. So we have a really good collection of, you know, the staples of the super clean boutique. I say boutique just because they're older and they're very desirable is what I mean by boutique. Amp selection there. Lots of, you know, good Fender Blackfaces and some Voxes going on in there. And they have the Blackface Princeton reverb. There's a ton of Fender like clean amps, then the names kind of get confusing. So if it's kind of weird to you, don't worry. They all have the circuits are different and they all have a little bit different sounds. Now this is cool. I like what they did with the name here. The Vishnu, which is going to be called a Vishnu in the Quad Cortex, is the Bhagna Shiva clean channel amp. If you don't know, Vishnu and Shiva are some of the Indian gods, I believe. The Hindu gods. Indian gods. Those are the Hindu gods, which is really cool. This amp is great. I love the Shiva. It has such a great clean sound. We have the high watt DR130 that's going to be in there. Now we have the Captain 50 clean, which is the Morgan SW50 clean, which Morgan makes some really good amps. The AC20 that they make is fantastic. Now getting into, we're about a quarter of the way through the list here. So we're going to be coming up on our first Mesas that we're going to be singing here. So we have the Mesa Boogie Lone Star Channel 1 and Channel 2. That's going to be called the California Star. We're going to have, of course, the Marshall Super League 100 Bright, Normal, and Jumped. That's going to be your Plexis right there. Then we're going to have the Plexi, the 50 Bright and the 50 Normal. It would be really interesting to know what amps and what year that they were modeled. When I mean what amps, I mean specifically what version number. Marshall Lead 50 Jumpered, and we have the 50s right here, so this is kind of the super leads coming down. And we have the British 2203, which they're going right to the point with this. This is the Marshall JCM 800, and that seems to be the only, yes, that's the only JCM that they're putting in here. And then we have the Jubilee, we have the Jubilee Rhythm and Lead, and then we have the JTM. The JTM is kind of one of those weird Marshall amps. That does sound really good, but they're kind of interesting. A lot of people talk about them, but they're not the key Marshall amps that people think of when you think of like Marshall High Gain, for example. You have Bright, Normal, and Jumpered, and what Jumpered means is like a lot of the Marshall amps way back in the day, you had like 4 inputs. It's like whenever you jump the inputs to each other. Rolling right along, number 30, the PV505, which is going to be the infamous PV6505. Once again, this is when I was going up, and we also have the rhythm, and we have the lead channels in here, and we also have the 5153. This one's made by Fender. This one was made by PV. Both were Eddie's amps at one point. It'd be really interesting to see which amps it was modeled off of. What I mean by that is there's a USA 6505, which I'm pretty sure that's what they modeled, and they do have the Chinese 6505. They do both sound a little bit different. You have different components in there. Kind of odd that they didn't choose to do an actual 5150, even though the 5150 and the 6505 are basically the same amp. We also don't have the 5152 in here either, which they could be good for contrast, but I would hope to see that the 5152 comes here, because those are both like super legendary amps that a lot of people use in real life and in the modeling realm. Now we have our next Mesas that we're coming up, and we have these are all dual rectos. Well, yeah, they're all dual rectos. It'd be interesting to see what revision of dual recto this is. You have both the orange and red, because the older 2 channels sound a lot different than the current normal 3 channels. And we do have the tremolo verb, which the tremolo verb is typically one of your early renditions of the solo head, which is commonly called as a dual recto. So I believe the tremolo verb is usually like a revision G, or I believe it's a revision G. So it's cool that we have both of those, and then you both have the orange, which is the vintage, and the red, which is the high gain. And then from the D-cell is going to be the D-cell Herbert, and we have all 3 channels going on here. And then you also have the D-cell VH4. We have channels 3 and 4 from there. I believe those are the high gain channels. And we have the Freeman Harry Brown Eye clean, and then we have the BE channel, and then we have the Harry Brown Eye channel. So all those Friedman amps that everyone knows and loves are going to be in here. We have the Bogdan Uvershaw rounding up toward the end, and then we have the Solo 100, which is the SLO, the Soldano 100. We have the lead and the crunch from there, and then the very last 2 amps that are going to launch with it is going to be the Mesa Boogie 2C Plus lead and then 2C Plus clean. So when it comes to amps, I do like the initial amps that are launching with it. I think it's a very good rounded out pack. You have your Marshall flavors, you have some of your more modern flavors, you have the Soldanos, you have the Mesas. I think it's a pretty round set of amps. I would like to see, you know, maybe some Ingles, and maybe even some Revs. Or I know that there's a lot of other amps people want to see. Let me know in the comments down below, what other amps would you like to see in the Quad Cortex? Because they are going to be updating them, of course. And you're also going to get the plugins too. So the amps that are in those plugins are going to be coming to the Quad Cortex too. So let's look at the cab stems that are going to come in here. These are all done by ML Sound Lab, and Miko has a ton of IRs, and he's going to be adding more to this as we go along. So we have your Mesa traditional straight with UK Celestion V30s. This is important right here, UK Celestion V30s, because different V30s from different years and from different places where they're manufactured, they all sound different. So you have the UK Celestions, you have the diesel straight guitar cab, so with V30s. You have the EVH straight guitar cab with Celestion G20 EVHs. These are Celestions that they specifically made for Eddie. I believe these come in the cabs that you can get in the current, when you buy the current the 5153, you can get those cabs with them. But we have a Fender Tweed cab. So Marshalls, we have a 1960 and 1971 cabs. You have the greenbacks, the G12 M25s, and you have the Pulsic era greenbacks, because these are both going to give you different flavors. And we have the oversized Mesa cab, again with the UK V30s. We have a 412 Zilla cab, which Zilla is I love their cabs. I have some Own Hammer IRs that I love from them, and then Miko also has some Zilla cabs. They both sound fantastic. These ones have the greenbacks in them. You have British Silver's 1987 Silver Jubilee 2551B with some Celestion G12 T75 speakers, really good there. You have some orange, called Crush. You have some Bogners with some vintage G30s in there paired with some G12 T75s. You have a 212 Shure cab, which you have a lot of variety here from what I'm seeing. And you have the Vox AC30 with the highly soft after pulsonic cones. That sounds very interesting. Oh, we have a bass cab too. Look, yeah, we have 2 bass cabs. We have the Ampeg and we have the Dark Glass loaded with the custom Eminence. IR-wise, I do hope that it launches with a little bit more than this. I think these are the ones that are guaranteed, but And you can also load your own IRs. Don't think that you can't. You definitely can load your own IRs, which is great. So you can expand on the ones that you currently have. 15 IRs for when it launches, that's okay, but it seems that they have a lot more V30 geared stuff, and there's not a lot of more clean and Fendery stuff and Voxy stuff. There's a few in here, but I know a lot of those boutique guys who use modelers, and which is surprising because you think it would just be the high gain people, but it's not. You do have a lot of people who just use like clean stuff and they use it for worship and stuff, and they typically like to use a different type of cap. So it'd be nice to see that expand, but I know it's going to expand. Don't take me as knocking it. It's just 15 IRs when it launches seems kind of low to me, but I know that's going to be expanded. So we can have a total of 59 amps, it seems, whenever it launches. So we have the Ampeg SVT, we have the Mesa 400 Plus, we have the Ampeg B15, we have a 6466 channel, we have one jumped, we have a Galen Kruger 400 RB. These are some pretty nice bass amps. We have the Marshall Super Bass. We have the 50 Bright, Normal, and Jumpered. I like this collection of bass amps. This looks actually really good. Let's move on to the distortions. So we're going to have the Big Muff. We're going to have tons of Bosses, actually. And then we're going to have a DOD 250. That is that's interesting. That's cool that they're putting the DODs in here. You're going to have the Freeman BEOD, which that's a really good overdrive a lot of people love. You're going to have the Dallas Arbitrator Fuzz Face, some nice fuzz. Oh, the infamous Clone is going to be in here. We have the Marshall Blues Breaker, the Governor, they have the Full Tone OCD, we have some more fuzz, the Proco Rat staple, and distortions. Of course, we have the Ibanez TS-808, a classic tube screamer, and then we have the BOB preamp. The distortions are cool, but I need two things. I need a metal zone and I need an HM2. I need those in there, guys. So work on that. And I'm sure this is gonna expand because people go crazy for their drives, and we have some bass overdrives too, which is nice. We have, of course, we have the two dark glasses. We have a Tech 21 bass driver. We have the Soviet Fuzz, which is Russian Big Muff. We have Human Gear and then Animado, yes. And then we have the Maestro Bass Master. It's good to see that they have a lot of bass attention because I feel like in a lot of the models they kind of forget about bass players a little bit. Compressors, we have a Diamond compressor. We have 1176, we have a Dynacomp, we have the SSL bus, we have the Dark Glass Supersymmetry, we have a Bogner Harlow, and we have a Harlow Tweak Neutral compressor. So this is actually a really good collection of compressors. The 1176 and the SSL, those are two like legendary ones. And we have, of course, we have the awesome dark glass stuff in here. For delays, we have the tape, analog, digital, multi-tap, and ping pong. It seems for the delays that they're not really trying to match any of them when it match any specific delays from pedals or anything like that. It seems that they're just kind of giving you some that sound, you know, generally like, you know, the typical delays people use. Reverbs, you have room, ambience, hall, cave, shimmer, plate, modulated, reverse, swell, singularity, interstellar, and spring. I would like to see if they base these off of any specific thing or if they just kind of model the algorithms off the stuff they thought was good. Modulations, we have vintage and dual chorus, we have a divorce chorus, that is tight. We have dimension, D, vibrato, tremolo, panner, flanger, phaser, univerb, and rotary. I'm sure they're going to add to this, but this is a very good collection for when it launches. Pitch, we can have analog octave, polyphonic octave or detune, digital octave, whammy, and intelligent pitch and drop. It'd be interesting to see how the drop tuning and the drop pitch works, because that's a big controversy, because you have some pedals that do it really well, some modelers do it well, others don't, from what other people's opinions range from. So it'll be interesting to see with that. Wah and envelope, we have the Vox wah, Dunlop, we have Dunlop bass wah, that's really cool. The Moldy Bad Horsey, that's a very good song by Steve Vai, very good to see. That's actually his wah pedal, by the way. We have the Dunlop Crybaby from Hell, that's Dimes. We have the Full Tone Clyde. I think that's an envelope, I believe. And then we have the MXR MC404 CAE. We have the Dunlop Crybaby Clyde McCoy model. We have the Mutron, the Love Tone Meatball, and the Guitar Auto. They have a lot of wahs. And here, that's really cool to see. EQ, you have parametric, 2 graphics, 3 band, 4 gain, pitch and notch, low pass and high pass. Really, that's a good collection of EQs. I love that. Utility, so you have your volume pedal, slow gear, swell, effects loop, noise gate, and you have the tuner. So these are the things that are going to be added subsequently in free updates. So this is not what it's going to launch with. These are things that they're planning to stick in it. By the way, we have the diesel VH4 2 channels. XTC, that's a Bogner Ecstasy. It's named after their, the XTC is a Bogner preamp. Cool seals in there. Orange rock reverb. Matchless DC30. Matchless makes some very good cooling amps. I love those. Oh, the Ingles. I'm an idiot, so they are adding Ingles. Great. You have the DAD pre, which is the ADA. I love the initialisms and stuff that they play with in here for the names. That is really cool. XYZ pre, you have Mesa Triaxis. That's a legendary preamp from Mesa. The Cornfade Hellcat, awesome. Cornfade makes some great stuff. Fender Tweed Deluxe, some more clean Fenders are going to be in here. Great. You have the JP2C Lead and Clean. Those are some very good. SJ John Petrucci signature. I'm glad that those are going to be in here. You have the Marshall power amp, that's cool. And the Mesa Boogie power amp, that is really cool because you can probably mix and match those with different amps and get some good flavor. That's awesome. We're gonna get some Lone Star Channel 1 and 2 from Mesa. We're gonna have the some more super bass, bright, normal, and jump. They're putting the JCM 900. That's very interesting. They're putting the clean channel, which that's like the clean / crunch channel from the 5153, and they're gonna put the Sun Model T amps in here, and some more bass amps they're going to put in here. They're going to put the Aguilar Tone Hammer, what are you going to call it, Thor, that's really cool. And you had the Aguilar DB751 and the Acoustic 360. Yes, so the Looper is going to launch later, but it's good to know that it's coming. Now, they're not telling you when it's coming in the update, they're just going to say it's going to launch in the update because they're probably just worried about getting the launch software like locked down. Alright guys, this video went a little bit longer than I wanted, but I want to know from you guys, what are some amps that you want to see? What are some IRs that you want to see? Are you excited for the Quad Cortex? Let me know in the comments down below. For me, it's going to have to be out. Peace.